Welcome back to E-Erotic the brand. Hi, my name is Eden Middleman, your favorite dating and sex coach. I do offer one-on-one services. You can find that on my website. All of that will be linked down below, and sign up to my newsletter for those that haven't if you want to know about the launch of a course I'm releasing that you guys have been begging me to talk more about, and I'm really giving you all my tips, tricks, and secrets. You can find that on my website as well. Again, link in the description. We're going to discuss this topic that somebody did request. You possibly comparing your current partner to past sexual experiences, or your fear and worry or potential obsession with your partner and their past romantic experiences, wondering if they were better than you, if you're better than them, that whole type of headspace. It is not a fun place to be in. I get it. We've all been there. We've all been curious at one point. It's a matter of how far are you going to take it, and are you going to feed into those thoughts? What you feed into will grow, right? What you give attention to will continuously grow. So if you are kind of on the cusp of that, I don't want this episode to trigger you into thinking more about that. I want it to do opposite. Let's not go there, because the truth is, if you are going there, you have self-esteem issues and insecurities that you need to deal with. We all are insecure to some sort of level. That's the world we're at. It's quite hard to be in complete peace with ourselves when there's always something new being told that is hotter and better and sexier, and unhealthy shit like porn that everyone is watching and refuses to stop, whatever. That pressure, societal pressure, beauty standards, etc. All that boring stuff that you guys know that really does contribute to how we feel about ourselves. The first half of this episode, I'm going to focus on comparing your partner to your past sexual experiences. So yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, we all have had that one or two sexual experiences that in our minds, keyword in our minds, were so amazing. And oh my God, I had so much sexual chemistry with this person, and nah. When in reality, I'm sure if I was a fly on the wall, not that I want to see any of you guys do the dirty, I really don't, have no interest in that. I would probably be like, yeah, no, it wasn't as good as you might think it was. You were just in that headspace. You were just more confident with yourself. You were just maybe accompanied by some liquid courage, perhaps. You might think it's better than what it was. That's what we often do when we reflect on our past, especially past relationships. We think, oh, they were amazing, or that person was so good, or you look at a highlight reel, especially if it was fresh and you're dealing with an ex that maybe you have never really fully gotten over, which we need to work on. Okay? Wink, wink. Sign up to my newsletter. The truth is, it's probably not as good as you might have thought it was, number one. Number two, are there doubts in your relationship, and why are you doubting your current relationship? Is the sex really that bad? If the sex is that bad, then have you done anything on your end to help improve the situation, or are you just accepting it because you don't want to deal with it because you low-key want it to fail? Self-sabotage. Hi, my deep dark friend. Self-sabotage. I know you guys all like to self-sabotage in some way. If your relationship is good, if you are happy with your partner, if they are great to you, whatever, if the sex isn't as great as something you experienced in the past, doesn't mean that relationship is shit. If your sexual chemistry is way whack, and you guys aren't getting each other, and it's not very exciting to you, and you don't get turned on, and you're kind of uncomfortable, then yes, there is something wrong with that relationship and with that partner. If everything on the books is great, but sexual chemistry is off, then that is breakup worthy. I know a lot of you guys always ask me, should I break up? Should I break up with this person? Because you don't know if it's worthy enough. Sexual chemistry is a huge part of relationships. If it bothers you enough, and you've given it thought, and you've done your part in trying to correct it or work with it or help the situation and speak to your partner, if you've done that and it doesn't get better and it just makes you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to leave that relationship, guys. It's not a stupid reason to leave a relationship. You also don't really need to lay it down to your partner and be like, hey, I'm leaving you because I don't feel comfortable in bed with you, or you suck in bed. Okay, that is horrible to say to somebody, because to you, you don't love it, but to somebody else, they'll be just fine. Or more than just fine. Guys, different strokes for different folks. I want you guys to remember that, and stop allowing people or the thought of that to hinder your self-esteem and confidence and prevent you from getting into relationships, or prevent you from exploring in the bedroom with somebody because you're worried that maybe, somebody's going to think you're bad or good or whatever in bed. You guys pay way too much attention on what other people think, and you totally miss the mark on hey, how do I feel? Is this feeling good for me? Am I enjoying this? The hottest thing people find in the bedroom is confidence, okay? For guys and girls. If you are not enjoying it, if you're not trying to go in there and also feel good about yourself, nobody's going to really find you attractive if you're going to be like, awkward, uncomfortable. It's going to prevent your performance anyways. Just a side note. You have to ask yourself, is this breakup worthy to me? Or am I just fixating on something small? You know, do I enjoy having sex with them? Yeah. Could it be better? Great. That's a great opportunity to discuss with your partner. That doesn't mean, hey, you can do better in bed, Johnny or Stacy. It's almost an exciting new chapter. Let's explore more. Let's figure out our rhythm. If there's something they do that you don't like, you should speak up and say, hey, listen, I'm not really a fan of that, you know? And if it's a deal breaker for your partner, then they have every right to leave as well. The door is open for anybody, okay? That's the truth about relationships, guys. This may also be coming from a place of doubting yourself and whether you're capable of picking the right partner for you. If you are constantly thinking about past partners and kind of just like working them up and saying, oh, that was the best sex of my life, they were the best partner because of the sex, and now you're like, I don't really know how I feel about this person because of the other person. I felt that way. Guys, when we grow, we change and feelings change. It's not always going to be magic and sparks. The sparks that you're looking for is actually bullshit. I actually fear for people that feel way too many sparks in a relationship because that shit burns bright and dies fast quite quickly. Why are they your ex? Okay, if you're comparing it to specific ex, why are they your ex right now? Think about that reason. You're focusing probably only on the highlight reel. Why are you in this current relationship? Sometimes just asking yourself, whoa, why am I even here? I wouldn't be here if I didn't like them or if I didn't want them, unless you pick this partner out of desperation or as a rebound. Then that is your doing and your fault and your problem. And now you're in a sticky situation. You're uncomfortable. You did it to yourself, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand. So those are the two main reasons why somebody would compare their current partner to their past in terms of like sex and things like that, and like making it a big deal. The more you start comparing, the more you start looking at it. So when you get into the bedroom, you're going to start being more fixated on, you know, things in the bedroom. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I noticed that he does that. Oh, because you're looking for things that you don't like instead of looking for things that you do like. It's just flipping your mindset. That doesn't mean to force you liking sex with this person. Like I said, if there is no chemistry in the bedroom, forget about it. But if you have chemistry in the bedroom, you just feel like you've had better, I wouldn't drop somebody because of that. I look at the relationship as a whole because a relationship is more than just sex. Okay. Sex is a big component, but it's not the entire relationship. If we're talking about like a normal, healthy, balanced relationship. Okay. People can improve. People can learn new things. People can do new things. Like, it's not a problem. If your partner's open to it, great. If they're not open to it, if they only fuck one way, if they're like extremely insecure and they're like preventing you from exploring, or they're not really being cooperative, or they're like shutting down, or they don't seem to enjoy it, I understand why that might hinder somebody from like trying and make this relationship work. Because obviously if the other person's not willing to work with you, then you're really out of luck here. That doesn't mean, for those freaks out there, okay, I'm defending people who might not want to do the crazy shit, who might not want to do stupid shit, who might feel uncomfortable about certain things, maybe because it's triggering to them because of their past, or maybe because it's just too much. Like maybe you watched it on fucking porn and now you want to replicate it. Oftentimes a lot of guys will feel like, oh wow, she's not doing this, she's not like good in bed, or she's not advanced, or she's not a woman I want to be with. You've watched too much shit that's like brainwash you. You guys think that all girls should be doing the things that you watch. However, a lot of that stuff is taboo and, you know, not spoken about widely for a reason, because maybe it's things that are a little bit too much and uncomfortable. People have different sex styles as well, and that just falls under sexual chemistry. You either get how you guys like it or you don't. And that's that. You don't ever want to push any of your partners to do anything that they might not like or enjoy or be interested in doing. And you should speak about it. If you guys, like I always say, in almost every video I make, in every episode I speak on, guys, if you cannot have conversations about sex with your partner, like, there is a problem, okay? Your partner needs to mature and grow up, and you need to mature and grow up if you can have those discussions. And that doesn't mean, hey, I want to do this. It's let's collectively discuss. How do you feel? Do you even know what your partner likes? Sometimes people compare their past because they're not happy about their current, because you haven't even given your partner a chance, right? You haven't even spoken to them. You haven't even tried. You haven't even done something to improve. Maybe you're turning them off, okay? Mr. High Horse, Mrs. High Horse, comparing. Maybe there's a misunderstanding here that you cannot see because you're too busy fixated on, you know, this comparison or living in this world of self-sabotage. As a woman, I get asked a lot too if women compare their past experiences, like in the group chat and things like that. I can only speak for my girls, and we're not out here talking about dicks all day. Like, we're not like fucking stupid. Like, we're not like just rotten in the brain. You know what I mean? Like, if we have a super bad experience, we'll obviously share it with our girlfriends, be like, oh my God, you don't understand what happened, like whatever. And if we have a really great experience, like we're not going to really share it unless we're asked, like, oh, did you sleep with him? How was it? Then that prompts for discussion. But like, I don't know, big girls have better things to do than talk about their private lives. Like we talk about like bigger ideas, bigger things. But yeah, like sometimes to my closest friends, I'll be like, oh my God, like best sex I've ever had, him, whatever. If the topic gets there, or if the conversation even gets there, it's not our main priority. Sorry guys. It's not like I think guys think that girls, if you're a guy listening, I know that like some of you guys are under the impression that girls just sit there and talk about guys all day. Not normal, well-balanced girls, in my opinion. Like not mature girls. If they're young, okay, yeah, what else are they gonna fucking talk about? Like, am I gonna have a crush on Billy? Like, okay, whatever. So I don't know if that answers a lot of the questions I've been getting. And do I have somebody that I've had like great sex with? Yes, there's definitely like highlights in my head, but I know that, let's say I had really good sex with somebody in my past. Okay. Not talking about my fiance, but let's say in my past, yes, there are memorable moments, that I've experienced and would say they were really great and I really enjoyed them at the time. But does that make me want them? No, because everything else didn't check out. Normally people that you have really great sex with, like this is the truth, there's other things wrong with them. Like, so they compensate with being really good in bed. You know what I mean? Like there's always that. There's a trade-off here, usually. That doesn't mean that you can't be with somebody who's good in bed and good as a partner in general in life as well. You can find that, like 100%. For me, sex is very important, but it's not going to be the deciding factor. There's many other things that are deciding factors first before sex is involved in deciding. But it definitely is part of the equation for sure. It could just be a thought. Okay. Like, I had really great sex in the past. This is different. Every person is different. So the sex is going to feel different. You can't compare apples to oranges. That's also something that you guys have to wrap your head around. You've heard that saying before. It's very childish for you to compare somebody to somebody else when no two people are alike by any means. Okay. You can try and make it work. It doesn't work. I'm going to guess that most of you guys are here for this specific part. Retroactive jealousy. It is basically like this obsession, okay? Like this thought process, this fixation on your partner's past romantic experiences. Like you're so worried and you cringe on the fact that they had sex with anybody else. Like me too. Like I know my fiance had sex with people and I still like, ugh, I don't want to think about it. Like I don't want to think about it. I know I'm not going to let that really affect me in any way, shape or form, because at the end of the day, we're together. And that's that. He could have been with whoever. I could have been with whoever. We chose each other. It was a mutual decision. And that's that. I don't really care if he's had better sex or if he's had worse sex. Why don't I care? Because I'm pretty confident in who I am. Not just my ability in bed, but more so like, okay, if you're going to compare me to somebody else who might have been better, why don't you just go be with them? There's a reason why you're not with them. Like that's the truth. There's a reason. Like there were other things that just didn't align with what you wanted or what you were looking for. Period. Don't have a conversation about who was the best sex you've ever had or how many people have you slept with. Like that comes down to just immaturity. Okay. No grown ass adults will ever ask you that bullshit. Okay. They don't need to know. It doesn't benefit anybody. And you know what? If you start looking into that, I know my girls are like super sleuths out there. If you look into all the people he's had sex with, it's just going to irritate that little wound that you still need to work on, which is your wound of insecurity. You're just poking at something. Like you're just self-sabotaging. So ultimately, our conclusion here is if you're on either end of this, you're just self-sabotaging. You're just insecure. And we need to work on that. You see how insecurity can manifest itself in so many ways. Listen to my other past episodes. You guys will see just how many ways you not taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, romantically, whatever, can affect your relationships with everybody and your entire life. So this is just like a small sliver. And that obsessive thought process, I know how painful it is. I've gone down those slippery slopes because I kept feeding it. I didn't ask how many people have you slept with, but I would be like, who was your past girlfriend? Oh, what was her name? Like, why am I asking about her name? Like, unless she's relevant in today's day and age, in our current life, if she is somebody he's going to see every day, then I have a right to know. But if not, and I don't see why they would, unless it's like work or whatever, some bullshit like that, unfortunate circumstances, we don't need to speak. Why would I bring that back up in their heads too? You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to prompt that conversation? They're going to start thinking about them. I'm not doing that. Okay. They're not in our lives. Great. As they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, Let's just keep it that way. Why would I go down that rabbit hole? Because then I'm going to go find her Instagram and I'm going to go look at her and, oh my God, she looks opposite of me. And oh my God, she has tits or she has an ass or, you know, is it bigger than mine? Is it smaller than mine? Is it this? Is it? And then I'm going to start picturing them having sex. And that is probably the hardest thing, especially for my men out there. It makes you want to tear out your eyeballs. Like it makes you grossed out by your partner. This is self-sabotage. Who cares? Okay. It's not your business because you weren't in their past. Like, it's really not your business. Men are going to say, no, it's my business to know how many people they've had sex with. You're the very same people that like watch YouTube videos of like these angry men and you take advice from them and like they're just losers online who've never like had partners, like, or have had a healthy relationship. You're one of those losers. Like, that's what you are. So don't like, why do you care? If their past is not coming into the present moment, then you have no right to be worried about it. If it is, and if there's constantly guys hitting her up and shit like that, then I understand why you might start to ask those questions or feel a certain way, even though you're not going to like the answer anyways. You guys like asking questions that you don't like the answer to. And you know what like the go-to line is? No, I'm just that type of person that likes to know everything. I always used to say that. But I've asked myself a lot of times, why? How does it benefit me? And I can't find an answer. I can't find an answer ever. The only true answer when I'm alone with me and myself and I is I just need to know if they're like better than me. That's just what it comes down to. If we're being honest with ourselves, that's what it comes down to. You don't need to know this fucking bullshit. You don't know them. They don't know you. Your partner's with you. You're here. You're in the present moment, not them. That's all. That's all that you guys need to remind yourselves of. There is nothing else that needs to be factored into this equation. You're just making it more complicated because you want to linger in this insecurity. In a way, it's addicting. It's addicting stalking the exes and looking at them because you think you're going to get some sort of relief. You're looking for like, probably weird, or she's probably like this. It doesn't matter. They can be beautiful. That doesn't take away from the fact that you could be beautiful too. Doesn't take away from the fact that you could be great too. And they're with you for that. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. Now, what happens when we feed our insecurities and we compare and we become jealous and we become obsessive is we become ugly. We become ugly. Yes, you heard it here first. You eventually, if you go down the slippery slope and do what you want, like it's your life, you know, your partner is going to look at you and be like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? This is not the person I signed up for. Because at the beginning, you were happy-go-lucky. You weren't thinking that, right? Chances are. And now suddenly you're in this slump. It's because you're bored. It's because you need a hobby, okay? Go do something. Work on your insecurities, perhaps. Get busy so that you don't have really too much time to sit there and, like, stalk them. You know, or you're making time to stalk them. You know what you could accomplish with all the time that you're spending stalking your fucking partner's exes? Like, come on. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. And then when they leave you, you're like, like you're almost forcing. This is why self-sabotage is scary, because you don't realize that you're doing this, but you're kind of pushing your partner away. You're not somebody that they signed up to be with. You're not who you once were, because you're allowing the jealousy to take over and the anger and the stress and the obsessive whatever. You're becoming somebody that doesn't trust your partner anymore. And that is a pivotal foundation for a relationship. So when you take that away, they're like, what the fuck? Who is this person? And what is this relationship? And then you're almost like, they dropped me. They're dumping me because they're fixated on their exes or because I wasn't good enough. You want to prove to yourself almost that your insecurities are valid. And they are valid. They don't need that kind of attention. They need you to take care of them. They need you to work on them. They need you to fix them. You need to heal that wound, not poke at it, not make it bigger and say, you see I'm bleeding. You see I'm bleeding. Like, that's what you're looking for when you're doing this stuff. It's not fun. We don't love knowing that our partners have had other people that they've slept with. It doesn't feel good to think about it. So this is the only time I'm going to tell you, just don't think about it. It's not productive by any means. It doesn't benefit you by any means. Assume that they have and move on from it. It's fine. Just like you have had. It doesn't mean that you're thinking about them and dreaming about them unless you are, and that's making you insecure about how they're viewing you. And if that's the case, then that's a lesson that is being underlined to you, that you probably shouldn't be with this person if you're still thinking about somebody else or your past relationships, or you're still hung up on them. You haven't healed. You haven't spent enough time from one partner onto the other, and that's probably a rebound relationship. Just to address some of those stupid things circulating online, if a woman or a man has slept with somebody of high status or is considered to be like, oh my God, like the hottest girl or whatever the fuck, and they choose to compare that to all their future people, then that's on them. You know what I mean? Like, okay, hotness or great in bed doesn't equate to a good person, a great relationship, and success long term. It doesn't guarantee longevity. In fact, it usually doesn't mean that. You know, like real balanced, healthy people don't get hung up on those things. Don't compare too much on those things. Don't allow that to take over. Don't worry about those things. The guys usually go nuts about this, but like, yeah, obviously, if you had sex with so many people, it's not a good look, man or woman. Okay, it's not a good look, but people can change and people have changed. And sometimes as, with age, they mature and they might not be happy with that. It doesn't mean that everyone's walking around with their little black book and bragging about it. That's your assumption. If that's how you feel about the situation, about your partner, if you're worried about that, it says more about you than it does about your partner. We don't like to look at the mirror that's reflecting back at us. Things that trigger us is usually things that are unhealed and that just require your attention and focus on healing. If your partner is constantly comparing you to other partners, you need to let that person go. Be like, hey, listen, go be with like Stacy, Casey, and Tallulah, okay? Like go be with Brian, Billy, and James. Like just go do that. Go. You don't want to be here, obviously. I don't want to be here either if you're going to compare me to other people. Like I'm one of one. You're one of one. Period. We all are one of one, okay? It's not really that big of a flex. Don't let it get to your head, but like also... yeah, so you can't compare me to other people, and you shouldn't compare other people to other people. It makes no sense. It's stupid. It's childish. It's just you looking for a fucking problem. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope it was helpful, some food for thought, or maybe stopping the food from the thought. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to think about that shit. We want to move the fuck on. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to give this a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It means a whole lot to me. I apologize for the delay on some content, guys. I have a newborn at home. I'm figuring things out. I'm doing my best. I have to film in like parts. So if it looks kind of choppy or questionable, visually, it's because I had to go tend to her and then come back and film what I can with the limited time I have. Hit the bell for the notification so you don't miss any of my content when I post. For those listening to the podcast, don't forget to rate it 5 large and in charge stars. Thank you for listening and being here, and I'll see you guys back here very soon. Bye.